pleasant evening to one and all present here. A very hearty welcome to the fourth series of the spectacular Abhivekti Festival, namely Abhivekti Pradarshana, a festival of celebrating the techniques of presentation of different arts. Abhivekti Festival Series 2019-20. Abhivekti Festival Series 2019-20. The festival aims at promoting Indian culture and values by the medium of arts and at preservation of traditional performing arts and crafts. The festival aims at providing young talents and aspirants to perform platform to come closer to the knowledge provided by the experts and seniors in the industry, thereby bridging an important gap. We are presenting this festival in a most humble way, and we have the passion to promote Indian culture and values through arts to everyone. The world is a global village, and we wish to put India strongly up on the world's cultural map. We are looking for social cooperation and associations and partnerships so that art can reach to the hearts. And we could have these festivals play a small but vital role in bringing people and nations more together and closer and way much beyond boundaries and distances and differences. It is indeed wonderful to have Alliance Francis Bangalore as our associating partner who has supported this festival with venue support, logistics, and coordination. This festival is open to all, a purely non-commercial series and non-ticketed. The vision of Abhivekti Festival. The vision is to make India strongly present in the world cultural map and being active in the world which has become a global village. The vision is to connect different dots and bring a beautiful picture to life by devoting the festival's work of bringing in diverse arts and crafts all at one stage in the way very humble and elegant way. Our mission. Mission is to bring together professionals and experts from different fields who are enthusiastic of spreading their passion of their arts and sharing their knowledge through these festivals. By these sessions and the evening presentations, each festival event will be instrumental in carrying out of knowledge and skill, sharing on first-hand basis, and will result in creating a momentum of arts between seniors and professionals to the art aspirants and enthusiasts. This is a completely non-commercial event and non-ticketed. We look forward to having more people coming together to mark a celebration of our festival motto, Arts for All, Possible and Successful. The first, per our Indian tradition, we commence any program with an invocation. Before that, we will commence our program with the lighting of the lamp ceremony, which is a very auspicious one. I request all the dignitaries, the guests and the speakers to kindly come on the dais and then light the lamp. Please sir, please ma'am. Geeta Shamprakash and Shri B.K. Shamprakash to kindly come on the dais. A very auspicious moment. Deepam Jyoti Parabrahma, Deepam Jyoti Parayani, Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Amritoma Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. From untruth to truth, from mortality to immortality. That's the essence of our Indian legacy. It is indeed a very great honor to have very distinguished guests amongst us today. May I request Nritya Vilasini Guru Srimati Manasi Raghunandan ma'am to kindly address the gathering. Please, ma'am.
Namaskara. What a beautiful evening it is that we began with the music and a demonstration. Abhivyakti Pradarshana, the fourth festival of this series. The series began in the month of August 2019 and will continue till June 2020. I take this honor to welcome the dignitaries of the day, Dr. Shri Rajendra Hegde sir, Chairman and Managing Director of BRICS LLP Bengaluru and Trustee Garden City Farmers Bengaluru. Welcome, sir. Guru Srimati Rohini Anand, classical dance exponent, Director Swaralaya School of Performing Arts, which is also known as Classical Rhythms now, all the way from Dubai, UAE. Welcome, ma'am. I also welcome the eminent panel speakers of the day, Professor Hariharan Krishnan, Professor Arts and Director Media Lab, KREA University, and Shri Madhusudan SN, Professional Dance Photographer and Senior Graphic Designer. Welcome, sir. I also extend my welcome to all wonderful performers of the evening, the dancers, the musicians, the artists. And I welcome everybody present here in the audience. The festival has been running beautifully since August, and we wish that it multiplies further. I'm very fortunate that Alliance Process, the Bangalore, has given us this wonderful campus to promote traditional art and culture. I think it is indeed wonderful that we are all coming together and trying to do something in a very selfless and in a very humble way. So thanks to everyone for being a part of this and encouraging the promotion of traditional arts, crafts, music, and literature. Thank you.
There's a small change, and then moving on to the main section of today's event, we have amidst us a very special guest, Professor Hariharan Krishnan, who is amongst us. I request Professor Hariharan Krishnan to kindly come over the dais. Please, sir. He'll be the guest speaker of the day. He is a Professor of Arts and Director, Media Lab, KREA University. Over to Professor Hariharan Krishnan.
Thank you so much for this invitation, and I'm really pleased to be here, not merely as a Professor of Arts at the KREA University, but also as the father of Anjali Hariharan. I am here basically to talk about the idea of how cinema, I've been a practicing film director for 40 years, from 1976 when I made my first feature film. How is it connected with dance, So when I was asked this question about how is cinema reflecting Odissi or Bharatnatyam or anything, I feel that this question is not so easily answerable. In the sense that, can I ask it in another way? How does Bharatanatyam or Odissi reflect cinema, The issue here is that both the art forms are extremely different. Cinema is essentially an industrial art form. It requires cameras, it requires lenses, it requires lights, it requires technicians, it requires a whole paraphernalia until its release stage. Odissi is a performing art where the individual matters, and it is his or her personal skill in the way he or she negotiates this space that matters. In cinema, it does not matter. Cinema is an industrial art. It has got only two primary concerns. One is the time with which it works on the screen, and two, the space in which it functions. So what happens is, the artist, whenever he or she appears on screen, the dancer, they are subject to the frame of the camera and to the duration of the shot. So what happens is, when I film a dance, I cut. I cut to a close-up, I cut to the feet, I cut to a long shot, a mid shot, a close-up, a reverse angle shot. These are things which are completely undance-like. This is not dance if I cut a shot. The only way a dance program we can do as filmmaker, as a justice to a dance program, is to shoot it entirely, without any disturbance, the entire proscenium, quite like the way the audience here is watching it. And you watch it in the same way as the audience are watching it, without any interruption. Now what will happen is, if I show you such a film, you will be bored within 10 minutes. You will want to say, can we fast forward this, But when you are sitting here, you don't feel that. You feel like watching the entire 45 minutes of the program. Because cinema demands a certain kind of rigor of entertaining in a certain way. And we have all been used to cuts. We have all been used to changing of volumes and image sizes. They are very different. So what happens in cinema, the other way, is that when a Bharatnatyam show or a Odissi show or a Kuchipudi show comes on screen, you feel that anybody can dance it. You can give Aishwarya Rai and tell her, you dance Odissi, she will dance Odissi. And who is choreographing it? You can ask somebody like Farah Khan to choreograph, And Farah Khan, if you ask Farah Khan, well, how are you going to choreograph Odissi on the stage? She will say, I saw a film. I learned the steps from a movie. I saw Vaijayanti Mala performing, and now I will do Bharatnatyam. Now you'll wonder, what? You saw Vaijayanti Mala performing Bharatnatyam, and therefore now this Aishwarya Rai is going to do Bharatnatyam now. So how is she so confident? How is Farah Khan or Saroj Khan so confident that they can execute a Bharatnatyam dance or an Odissi dance on camera? Because they know very well that the responsibility of choreographing is exactly for 10 seconds. So in 10 seconds, if you can move your hand somewhere and keep it and cut it, that is enough. You don't need to do more. 10 seconds, maximum 20 seconds. And you can put them all together, it looks like one dance. Actually, there are 200 shots in that 5 minutes. And they are all choreographed in tiny bits, So you can make the worst dancer to look good on screen. That is not possible when it really happens. You cannot bring a horrible dancer and make us all sit and watch it, It will be seen that they do not know how to dance. Whereas in cinema, it is easily possible. So, if you want to really watch good performances of great dancers on the screen, there are a handful of films. If you have the patience, I would seriously recommend you should watch a film called Jal Sagar. Jal Sagar is a film by Satyajit Ray in which Roshan Kumari performs Kathak. I would urge you to watch. It is available on YouTube as Roshan Kumari performing in Jal Sagar. Mr. Satyajit Ray will shoot the entire thing in 2 shots. He begins with her, and then the camera moves back, and it goes back to her. In 1 shot. Because he says, I cannot sit and cut Roshan Kumari. Roshan Kumari is a genius in Kathak, How can I sit and cut her and say, okay, now do only this portion, no, only do that portion. For Ray, it would have been considered absolute travesty. Very vulgar to ask Roshan Kumari to do in bits and pieces. So he films her in 1 shot. Another film that I would like to recommend is a film on Kelucharan Mahapatra by Kumar Sahani. Even in that film, you can see that Kumar Sahani shoots Kelubai in 1 shot. In 1 shot, he just leaves and listens, watches him perform. Now that requires a lot of patience by the audience and a lot of determination by the filmmaker that I am not going to cut. So, how has it influenced, Cinema for me is also a part of choreography. When we move cameras, when we crane the camera, that's also part of my choreography. So I will not say that as a filmmaker, I have not been a choreographer. I have been a choreographer, yes. But my choreography of dance does not require the kind of understanding that a dancer requires. Because I work in short spaces, in short pieces. Moving to the second part is that how does cinema influence dancers? I think that is where we should lay our concerns, That unfortunately, today with so many shows on television of Indian Idol and Super Singer, Super Dancer, 3D dancer, you can see that the way cinema has influenced dance is much more than dance influencing cinema, So you will find a lot of students coming to you saying that, please teach me this in 3 days' time. I have to perform this. Give me some shortcut. And she says, how can I do this shortcut? Well, Aishwarya Rai can do it. She did it in 3 days. Why can't I do it in 3 days? So in every field, and the worst affected is the world of vocal music. In vocal music, every student today learns it from movies. They learn it from audio cassettes. They learn it from CDs. Other people's performances become your standard to start learning. And I think that's a huge problem. That's a bigger problem for me. That classical musicians and dancers are taking resource to cinema as a source of information and training, And I think that's where we should be very, very strict. So please don't refer to audio CDs. And I must tell you that especially in the world of singing and classical music, singing in Carnatic music, any person who sings, say, Bhavayami Gopala, it will sound like M.S. Subbulakshmi, It looks like as if nobody can sing that song except M.S. Subbulakshmi. Why can't musicians innovate, Why can't musicians change and do what their heart and mind wants to do? Why should you copy musicians? I think every musician, every teacher should teach his or her own way. They should not copy anybody else's. I think there should be very strict laws on copyright here, If MS has sung it this way, that's it. She will sing it this way. I will not teach you that way. As a teacher, I will innovate it differently and give it to you. Now, the question is, here is the notion of tradition, that in the name of tradition we say, 200 years ago, this is how it was done. M.S. Subbulakshmi sang it just 50 years ago. And she invented that there. It was not a tradition. The entire compositions of the Alvars were composed by one person, Ariyakudi Ramanuja Iyengar, in 1960. And people came to sing the Tirupavais and Tiruvampavais thanks to Ariyakudi Ramanuja Iyengar. It is not a tradition to sing that song in that way. It was invented by a singer. Similarly, dance steps are invented by dancers. So how do I, as a dancer or a musician, decide to be original? The moment every teacher, dance teacher or music teacher, decides to be original in their way of teaching, instead of copying other singers and other dancers, then you will see that younger dancers and singers will say that, yes, I want to learn it like this, and not watch movies. You cannot watch movies and learn dancing. You cannot watch movies and learn singing. You got to go to a guru, and that guru has to be an original guru. That guru has to struggle. That guru has to find a new way. If they are going to copy, then both music will not prosper, nor cinema will prosper. So with these words, I would like to say that all of you who are here, aficionados of cinema or dance or music, should certainly seek for originality and find out what is so original about this. And once we move into the original styles, I am sure both cinema and dance and music will improve in rapid ways. Thank you so much.